First of all, on behalf of my farmers and ranchers, thanks for all the great work that you have done and your office has done for those farmers and ranchers. I want to applaud you for giving us a sorghum oil pathway to diesel, for giving my farmers and ranchers some relief on the waters of the U.S., and thank you on behalf of all the corn farmers in America. Thank you for giving us E15 year-round. I want to kind of continue down this biofuels pathway and just get a quick thought on you on E30. From what I understand, E30 has about 60% less emissions through a tailpipe. It's usually about 20 cents less per gallon at the pump, and maybe has a little bit better gas mileage. Are you all looking into E30, and any thoughts on the future of E30?
Well, we just completed E15, and right now we're looking at the overall RFS program. We look at all blends of ethanol, so we're looking also at E85. I don't know that we're specifically looking at E30 or not, but I can certainly get back with you to let you know if our scientists are, in fact, reviewing E30.
Thank you, and thank you for looking at the E85. I'm hearing lots of good words out there on the streets from the people who are using it as well. I guess one of our biggest concerns back home is the small refinery exemptions. And the question I get from farmers is, how do you define what a small refinery is? And I understand, like Frontier Refinery, and where I grew up in El Dorado, that's a small refinery. Coffeyville, Kansas has a small refinery. How do you determine what's a small refinery who really needed the exemptions versus some of the others?
Well, the definition of small refinery is in the statute itself, and it's based on barrels of oil produced at the refinery. But I do want to just, there is a misperception in a lot of areas. It's not the size of the corporate parent. It's the refinery itself. It's not the refiner. So, for example, a very large company can own a small refinery. Department of Energy is the one that takes a look at the small refineries. When the small refineries apply for the small refinery exemption, they apply to EPA. We send the request to Department of Energy. They review the economic data to determine whether or not there is a hardship based under the statute for each refinery. Not the parent company, but
so if a parent company owns 5 oil refineries, do they lump together for the number, or you take each one at each location?
Each one, each location. The statute defines it as a refinery. So, for example, a large company may own a small refinery in the middle of the Rocky Mountains. If that
do you feel the number that we're using is a good reflection, is a good number, or is that in statute?
It's in statute.
Okay, let's talk about glyphosate for just a second. Okay, so biochemistry major, a medical physician, certainly I'm concerned about people's health. And I'm confused myself. Which federal agency, is it the EPA or the ATSDR, is tasked with regulating and vetting the safety of glyphosate?
That would be EPA under our pesticides program.
Do you feel there's any infringement going on by other folks like the ATSDR?
We always welcome science reviews by other agencies and departments. We often look at the work that they do, not just within our country, but also other countries. We look at different international bodies. For glyphosate, we took one of the most comprehensive looks at that chemical, that pesticide ever by any regulatory body anywhere in the world. Our conclusions are that it is not a carcinogen, and those conclusions match regulatory bodies around the world.
Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you very much. Mr. Byer.